Welcome back to Real Phonies, where we take a love for movies and television and combine it with very little knowledge about movies and television. I'm your host, Christian. Join me are my co-host, Joseph.
Hello.
Ian.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And Jehu.
Cacao! Woo! He really meant it this week.
That was like my Nature Boy Ric Flair cookout.
And it was good.
It was good. I felt it.
That joke's come full circle. You know, it started funny, it got less funny, and now it's you've kept doing it. It's turned back around on it.
But see, pretty soon I'm going to hit the point where it's not funny again, and then it'll never be funny again.
I just don't want you to do it any other way at this point. Like, it would feel wrong.
That's your signature.
So this week we're doing the news, and since Ian's back, he's taking the lead. Ian?
And that's the news. No.
That is in itself the news.
This was always my favorite part of doing the pod. So, yeah, I'm glad to be on here with you guys. I got your messages late, so I just put a list together in like 15 minutes. And there's a lot of shit because I don't think you guys have done one of these.
We haven't done one in a while.
2 months. It's been 2 months.
Yeah. So I'm trying to work backwards to newer stuff. But I mean, the oldest thing I think the least important, will work towards more important, is the Dexter revival trailer, which premieres relatively soon, I think, right?
I don't know. I don't have Showtime. Even though I've probably been, I would say, the most positive on this, I will not watch it.
Yeah, so the trailer came out. It's completely rebooting the show and kind of looks like a Buffalo Northeast town. What do you guys think of the trailer?
I think he's in Alaska. I think it's right where it left off in the last season.
No, I don't think it's the last. I think it's in the Northeast. I've read about that. I could be wrong about that, but I'm almost positive that he is no longer in Alaska.
Well,
I mean, really what I feel about this is if this was like season 5, if this was like the reboot they were doing at season 5 to sort of, try something new at that point, I'd be pretty excited about this. But since we sat through like seasons 5 through 9 or however many before this already, I don't think this is enough of a course correct.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I was on the fence about it. Like, I thought it was intriguing because obviously it ended bad, but like I said, you guys in the text thread, I think this show's been bad since the Trinity Killer season. People could argue that there was some stuff like maybe the Julia Stiles season was good, but it's been bad for a long time. And this looked more of that. It looked pretty awful. I have no hope of this being anything worth watching. I don't know about Jones or Virgilio.
Yeah, Joseph thinks all of Dexter is bad, and he's wrong about that. But I don't know. Kind of to both of y'all's point, like in some regard, I'm big on if it's bad, you can try to make it good. Like you can't make it worse. You can't make Dexter worse than how Dexter ended. So, maybe it is worth a shot getting it right. But also, like, they're bringing John Lithgow back. They're bringing Deb back. And I just don't think at that point, you're just trying to pull on what was good instead of coming up with something that will be good. And I don't know that that's going to work. That doesn't get me excited to come back to this world. And I'm not going to pay for Showtime. So it's not going to happen.
I will say this to Ian's point. Seasons 1 through 4 are pretty much it. Like, particularly since 4 is such a good, easy ending for the show. 5 has some good shit in it, mostly Peter Weller saying Lumen. But I don't know. I'll probably watch this just based on how much I did like the first 4 seasons, but I don't expect it to be good. I did like that Clancy Brown was in the trailer. That's a positive.
Yeah, he's the villain of this season is Clancy Brown, and that's a good choice. But
yeah,
I'm with you guys. Some casting news, kind of jumping around a little bit. I think we were all thinking they were going to do a Disney ride kind of interconnected universe. They cast in Haunted Mansion Tiffany Haddish and Lakeith Stanfield.
Are those official?
I'm pretty sure that's official.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's been officially announced, but I think Ian's right that it's a done deal. Like all the trades are reporting that that's what it is.
Yeah. Also, a Tower of Terror movie with ScarJo, which I no longer think is official. And we'll talk more about that later.
Definitely not.
But I know Joseph, your man Lakeith. What are you thinking?
Oh fuck it! I'm if Lakeith Stanfield's in it, I'm in for it. I don't give a shit. You know what? Honestly, I don't feel like fundamentally I hate the Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion. I don't really know why this is a thing. I don't really need this, but if Lakeith Stanfield's in it, I will stand for it.
You know, I started to watch
shit. I will Lakeith stand for it.
Oh, there you go. I started watching the Eddie Murphy one yesterday with my 6-year-old, and I was like, this is like darker than I remember. Like, it's weird. I have no memory of that movie even existing, but it's on Disney Plus, and I couldn't finish it. It's bizarre.
The only reason I remember is because on the Disney Channel, prior to it coming out, they were really plugging it by doing Raven Simone's cover of Superstition, which is the first time I'd ever heard Superstition, which is probably some kind of like global crime. But, you know, that's all I remember about it.
You made it to like 12 years old before you heard the song Superstition.
That's correct.
And the first time you heard it was by Raven Simone.
That's also correct.
Your parents failed you so hard.
They really did. Yeah, you know, I like Lakeith Stanfield a lot, so I would probably see this based on him. But I really don't enjoy Tiffany Haddish, so I might not see it based on her. So I'm really torn on this. You know, I mean, she would be like funny if she like worked in your office. She would be like the funniest chick in your office. But in a movie, I don't know. I don't find her funny.
I'm just okay if she's in it and doesn't try to be funny.
Right.
I think that would be better for me.
A lot of work too, and I don't get it. I do not like her. Like, she's in that terrible card counter trailer that we're not even going to talk about. Like, why is Tiffany Haddish getting all this work?
I mean, to be fair, I don't think Kevin Hart's very funny either. And those two have been making a whole thing doing movies together. So somebody in some demographic is really going for that specific brand of comedy.
She has that one good story about trying to fuck Leonardo DiCaprio, and I think her entire career is based on, that's a good story. I remember that, and that's it.
I feel like I want to walk back about 4 seconds when I said some demographic when I made it sound like black people. And that's not what I meant. I really did not. I meant dumb people or people that have a different sense of humor.
Are you saying black people are dumb, Joseph?
Yeah, well, you see,
Joseph, I'm canceling you mid-podcast.
I feel like don't even walk that back. You do the editing. You can make that disappear.
Back to the film. I mean, Haunted Mansion's my favorite ride. And so I want to see a movie based on it, but I don't know if it can be good. Like,
it's my favorite ride in Magic Kingdom. Yeah, I want it to be good. I think if you did like a haunting of, you need to take it more serious. But I don't think
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, fuck, what the fuck is the difference between the Haunted Mansion and Beetlejuice?
Yeah, you could do it at that. Yeah.
I mean, Beetlejuice is there are some like horror elements to Beetlejuice. I mean, and it takes itself seriously.
But it does, but like it's like it's got a real dark tone and it's got some horror moments, but it's also like, I don't know, kind of really goofy. I feel like it's kind of the right tone they should be going for here.
So there's this like interesting thing about the ride, which is it took like 9 years to build Haunted Mansion because nobody could figure out what it was. And eventually they just said, this is all the shit we have. Put it in there. So one half of it is really scary, the first half, and the second half is really goofy because they were made by completely different people. Everyone had a different idea on what the ride should be. The only reason it exists is because Walt was like, I want it, build it, and we'll figure out what to put it in later. And so like maybe that's the same approach you take the movie. Like, it's half of the movie's really dark and scary. Half of the movie is goofy and there are ghosts singing songs and stuff. I don't know, but good luck. I hope it's good. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I'll give first of all, I love that story. That makes me want to go on that ride right now. That's great.
It holds up too. Like the holograms in there, like some of the parts in that ride are like really, really good still. Like I went last year and it holds up. It's fucking an awesome ride.
The ballroom scene is the most impressive thing I've ever seen when you think about the fact it's 50 plus years old.
That's
like
what I mean. Taking into account the date, it really does hold up. The next thing is some casting. More casting is, you guys will be excited. Lars Mikkelsen and Mena Massoud, probably, me, I butcher names, are cast in an upcoming live action Disney Plus series as Grand Admiral Thrawn and Ezra Bridges. I know Jones has been excited about Ezra being cast as this guy for a while. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, these guys are the right dudes for the part. I mean, I feel kind of bad. Amina Masood was like the lead in the Aladdin movie and has gotten zero work since then. So good for him getting a Star Wars show. I think this is going to be in Ahsoka. Lars Mikkelsen, 100% the right guy for Thrawn. I'm surprised they went with him because you would have thought they'd go with like a big name for a big character, but he killed this part in Rebels. I mean, he was phenomenal. So yeah, awesome.
Benedict Cumberbatch definitely turned that role down 100%. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I also feel bad for that guy because Aladdin is the best live action movie they've done. Like, it's a little different. Like, I love that movie. Like, I've watched that one more than any of the other like live action Disney movies they've done. So I think he's good. Give him some more work. Ezra, it's kind of a, shitty character, but hey, I'm not into the cartoons as much as you guys are.
I don't think it's a shitty character, but agree to disagree. I've actually watched the show though, so maybe my opinion is a little biased.
Because he's only on Rebels, right? He's not even on Clone Wars.
Correct.
The only thing I took away from this, the most surprising bit of this to me is that Mads Mikkelsen has a brother I didn't know about, which seems like a plot of some kind of murder mystery that I haven't seen, but apparently it's just real life.
I think he does a lot of voice acting in foreign films.
Yeah. I mean, this is good casting to me. I agree with Ian. Benedict Cumberbatch definitely turned this down. I would argue that probably 30 British character actors, 2 or 3 of them who are former Doctor Who's, turned this down before they got to this guy. But however it happened, I really like that they chose this guy.
My only note, and I said this guys in text, like there was a huge campaign for Ashley Eckstein to be Ahsoka in live action, and they were like, "Fuck you, we're going with a celebrity." But now every other person they've brought from the animated ones, they've gone with the actor. I mean, except for Ezra. So it's kind of a big middle finger to her, which is weird.
Yeah. So we'll see. A couple of HBO Max movies that are coming, I think exclusively to HBO Max. They cast Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, and it's I think you guys have all seen In the Heights. Leslie Grace, the girl who went to Stanford, was Jimmy Smits' daughter. She's going to star as Barbara Gordon. I think she was good in that movie. I think that movie didn't get as much love as it deserved. And I think this movie, could be good. I think that's an interesting character. It depends on what they do with the story, but she's got a lot of good comic roots. You could speak to that more than me.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of great stories with Barbara Gordon. She's very beloved. She kind of got the bum's rush for a few years because she got shot in The Killing Joke, but then they made lemonade with that and made Oracle, which was also a great character. But yeah, I'm pretty into this casting. There's some people out there that are upset that they've switched races on them, and fuck those guys. Although the few of them that say, why is it always redheads? I do wonder that myself. What do the comic book movie people have against redheads? Redheads never make it to screen. But overall, I'm pretty into this. And is this the thing that J.K. Simmons might come back for? Because I'm definitely into that. Yeah,
that's correct. Yeah. Anyone
Anyone else on her?
No, it's good casting. Right. This movie will probably be fine.
And keep rolling with the Latino actors cast. Xena Mardunia, who plays in Cobra Kai. He's the star of that. He just got cast as Jamie Reyes in the Blue Beetle movie, which is also coming to HBO Max. So I don't know. Blue Beetle, I think that's kind of a B-level character, but I'm glad that they're making that movie. The more superhero movies, the better.
I mean, this is kind of my pitch. We've talked about this on the podcast a little bit before, but I feel like that's the way DC should go. We need to get away from the A-tier superheroes because they've been done to death and nobody knows what's going on with them, and we all kind of hate them a little bit at this point.
And when they do them wrong, nobody will be pissed as
exactly. So this is a low risk, high reward. If they do it right, you can bring in a fun, young, charismatic young superhero. Who has a power set pretty different from anything else that's going on, despite the fact that there's a Venom movie coming out. I don't know. I think it's got high upside.
I mean, Jamie Reyes' Blue Beetle is fetch. They just keep trying to make it happen. But I'm on board with it. I've always liked that character. I've always thought he had a Spider-Man-y vibe, and DC has always been missing in that department. I'd rather see Static Shock before this, but I'm still down with this.
He does have a very Peter Parker vibe. That's a good call.
I agree with everything they said.
Yeah, I don't know much about the Jamie Reyes, but I've championed Cobra Kai to all of you guys. So I'm firmly on that bandwagon. So I want this guy to get more work because he's really good in that show. So I'm on board. Another trailer is The Last Duel, which I thought looked fucking cool. I texted out to you guys. It's Adam Driver, it's Matt Damon, and then it's Ben Affleck with a terrible haircut. I'm all in on this movie. I think this could be like Oscar kind of contender this year, but I don't know what you guys thought. I think it's Ridley Scott, who is fucking old at this point, but he's still churning out good movies. What did you guys think?
I think this movie will be trash. The trailer was fine, but it's one of those things where it should be Oscar baity. It's got an Academy Award-winning director. They've got period piece clothing. It's got a bunch of people that have won Oscars, and that's a combo for a bad movie.
I'm going to go with, I also think it'll be trash, but instead of with a period, with an exclamation point.
Like fun trash.
Yeah, I think it's going to be super fun trash. I said this to you guys in the text, but it reminds me of wrestling. There's a grudge. There's a match coming. There's a stipulation. Like it looks like good, trashy fun. And man, anything that keeps Ridley Scott from making another shitty Aliens movie, I'm down for.
I mean, look, the only time Ben Affleck has ever been good in a movie is when he's playing a bad actor. And so I can't imagine this point in time is when he's going to turn it all around. But, fuck it. I'll probably watch it on a streaming service.
I'm in direct agreement with Jehu. I would just rather a shitty alien movie because then at least I'd care.
That's true.
I
honestly, I was just being disingenuous at that point for a joke. I kind of like Prometheus in that last Alien movie. They're kind of dumb, but I had fun in both of them.
Well, that's offensive, but
I know that's an episode for another time.
I don't know. I'm going the other way. I think that looks cool. So we'll see how it turns out. Yeah, transition to that is another HBO Max simultaneous theater release is King Richard, which is Will Smith in another biopic. He's the father of Venus and Serena Williams, and kind of like I think he's channeling his inner. What's the one where he's homeless and he has a son?
Pursuit of Happiness. Yeah, I felt the same way.
He's totally going Pursuit of Happiness with it. It kind of. I thought it looked pretty good. I'll watch it. I don't know if I'm super excited for it. I don't know what you guys thought about it.
I'm curious to hear what you guys think about it because I have very specific thoughts about it.
Yeah, my main thought was watching this trailer. I was like, "When's the last time Will Smith did anything I gave a shit about?"
Yeah.
I think maybe going back as far as Ali. That movie is flawed, but at least I cared about it. I can't think of the last thing he's done since then that I cared about at all, and I think this fits in that.
Yeah, I kind of had a reverse opinion than I think the internet had, which was I also got Pursuit of Happiness vibes from it, but abusive Pursuit of Happiness vibes. And that was an interesting twist to me that I was like, oh, I would watch more of that, which apparently a lot of people felt the same way, but they were turned off by that fact. Yeah, no, I probably will see it, but I'm not in a rush.
Well, you hit on exactly what I think I picked up on from it. Is it reminds me a lot of Whiplash, but without the self-awareness of this shit's not good.
Right.
And I think they're trying to make a certain point here. I think they're trying to make a point that by being black in America, you got to work twice as hard to get half the respect and all that kind of stuff. And so he had to push them for them to succeed. But I feel like we're sending some fucked up messages if the movie lionizes the kind of behavior that's indicated in the trailer. I'm surprised this was signed off on. This seems like a really not great message to be pushing in your movie.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know. It's going to be a hot topic for a while when it comes out, I think. The only thing I could think of is someone wanted to make a movie about Tiger Woods' dad, and he said, fuck you. And then they settled on this guy instead.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. The other thing, is another HBO Max kind of casting is it looks like now there are 2 Black Superman movies or projects in development simultaneously. HBO Max. Michael B. Jordan is also doing one on the Earth 2 Superman. I don't know his name. You guys know?
Val Zod.
Yeah. Which is basically Barack Obama's Superman, correct?
No, not correct. That would be way more awesome. Here's the thing about Val Zod. I had to look it up to remember what the fuck Val Zod was. And there's really nothing very special about him. Like, I don't even think we got time for me to explain how convoluted this shit is. Let me just say,
is it like, have you seen Justice League Gods and Monsters?
I have, man, but I don't.
It's the one where at the last second, General Zod kills the L's, the parents, and sticks his baby in the shuttle instead of Kal-El.
Man, it doesn't play out like that, but I could see them using that instead of this, because really, I can't see, like I said, it's so convoluted. I don't know how they would use any of the good bits from this. I remember that he's agoraphobic, so I could see them maybe using that, but I don't even know if they would use that.
This isn't where he's the president and he's also Superman. Am I
No, that is Calvin Ellis. That is not Val Zod.
Okay.
Unless they're going to merge those two things.
Okay.
You know,
right.
Warner's management of the DC characters and Superman in general is just so much like a business run by Mr. Peanut Butter and Todd. That was just for Joseph.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just whatever idea this week, you know, like we've got 4 Superman going. Sure, why the fuck not? Like, I don't even know what to say about this because I don't believe it'll happen because I don't believe any of them will happen. I would like Michael B. Jordan as a Superman or Superman-like character. I really don't understand why there are 2 Black Superman productions right now, and one of them isn't Icon, but I've harped on that enough. But I don't know what they're going to do with this.
Yeah. My thought on this is, like, I've always argued that DC should go, like, the opposite of Marvel. Don't make an MCU, like, interconnected thing. Do it like your animated movies. Like, I'm okay with having multiple Batman stories and multiple Superman stories in development at the same time, as long as they're all good. But this just seems like they're throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks. Like, there is no way that this and the J.J. Abrams thing are both going to, like, we will not see both of these on screen.
No way.
Like Hurt said, I don't even think we'll see either one of these on screen.
Yeah.
Like, I just think it's just the whole thing is fucking mismanaged. So, like, I just have no confidence in them. Like, and they do their animated stuff so well. I feel like they should be doing better at this, you know? But, like, just no confidence at all, you know?
Why they haven't hired guys like Bruce Timm to move up and manage their non-animated properties, I don't really understand, because they do such a good job with the animated stuff.
I'm going to take a different perspective here, which is that I'm much more excited about this one than I am the JJ one. I think for this to get greenlit was a lot more of a cohesive vision than whatever JJ threw at the wall. I think JJ's got greenlit because he's JJ Abrams and they gave him $250 million.
Right.
I think this was several months in the making, this pitch. And I don't know. I have a more comfortable perspective about something that somebody took their time with and really developed. And however, I do agree with you guys. I'm not sure we see either of these movies, and it's still mind boggling that we can have multiple Superman movies and you're refusing to make one with a guy that people generally like as Superman. Whatever, you know.
Yeah. I think some of the shine's coming off J.J. Abrams, though. Like, since, you know, Star Wars Episode 9, I know he signed with HBO Max, like, an exclusive deal with his, like, Bad Robots thing, but I just read another thing, like, he was trying to do a Shining spinoff based on, like, the Overlook Hotel, and they just passed on that. Like, I just don't know if, like, that guy might be falling kind of on the wayside. I think people might have seen he's kind of like a one-trick pony, and it's just, he might not be what we think he was.
It only took 20 years. Anyway, what else you got, Ian?
So, another cool trailer that's kind of old, but I don't think you guys have talked about it. You guys haven't talked about the What If trailer, have you?
We have not.
We have not.
What do you guys think? Like, now after Loki, I know, you know, I listened to your last episode. I mean, I read yesterday is that this is going to be canon. So What you see in this show is, like, different multiverses that are out there. I mean, the opening scene with Killmonger is one of my favorite characters in the MCU. Coming up to Iron Man was fucking awesome. Like, I think that set the tone right. I thought it looked really, really good. Seems like Captain Britain Peggy Carter is going to be kind of the main character. I think it's going to be episodic, but they said if they do multiple seasons, she'll definitely be featured in every one. I wouldn't be surprised if we see her live action at some point, you know, especially with the multiverse and stuff. they Haley Atwell's pretty well liked around that studio, it seems. But what do you guys think of that trailer? I fucking can't wait for that show, and you guys know I hate animated, so I'm all in.
Well, we're in opposite camps here, Ian, because I was really excited about this. I loved the theory, and then I saw the trailer. I was like, "Oh no, is this going to be bad?" I still really like the concept, but the little snippets we got, both the animation and like the I don't know if it's necessarily the acting. I think it's just more like the lines and stuff they picked to display. I was like, oh, this looks corny and kind of bad, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope they just made a bad trailer.
I kind of like the way they went with the animation. I don't know if they're 100% pulling it off, but I like the sort of 3D looking, but also cell style animation looking. I can't really tell from this trailer if they're 100% going to land it, but it's cool to go for something that isn't just the same old shit. I thought this looked pretty fun. I've been excited about this, and this did not deter my excitement.
I think Jeffrey Wright sounds really cool as the Watcher.
That is correct.
That guy's got a sexy voice, and
I was about to say you could have stopped it. I think Jeffrey Wright sounds cool.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you guys know more about the animated stuff. So I think you guys are more like animation snobs probably than me. I'm just looking at it more like the MCU aspect of it. I'm cool to see some more of these crazy stories.
You're not going to insult me for being cultured, Ian.
Well, also, I like that they'll get to stuff in this that, they'll never get to in, live action movies, which is saying a lot because they get to some crazy shit in live action movies. But I'm just glad it exists, and I hope they pull it off.
Yeah. It'll be cool to see Chadwick Boseman at least voicing Black Panther one more time. I think I'm looking forward to that as Star-Lord. That looked like cool, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I'm definitely going to watch it. I like now after Loki, I think it's taken on a little new meaning. So I think everyone who's into the MCU is going to watch it now. So we'll see. So getting into some of the bigger trailers, Ghostbusters, Afterlife. I think it's the second trailer. Kind of the first one, I think, that kind of gave you more than a teaser, a little more look of everything. I know we've texted about it. I don't think any of us were crazy about it, but anyone want to start off? I mean, I didn't think it looked good, but I think some of you guys had different takes.
There's a lot right about this, and then there's just so much wrong at the same time, which is it's just not funny. There's nothing funny in that trailer. I don't laugh once. There are no jokes. It's not even that there are jokes that don't land. There are just no jokes in it.
Hey.
And I'm not sure that's the right tone. I mean, I've said at length on this podcast, what makes Ghostbusters special is that it's a paranormal movie that happens to be funny. But this just looks like a paranormal movie, and I don't know that that's the real magic of Ghostbusters. I don't really like that we're going the kid route. Again, Ghostbusters is not, I wouldn't say it's not for children, but they say dick in there a couple of times. Like it's not for kids. Again, but there's a lot right. It's really hard to have, I think, a complete perspective on what this movie's going to be because, man, those monsters look perfect. The way they included Egon is spot on. There's a lot to like. It just doesn't hit. And then having Dan Aykroyd be the fucking post tease thing. Dan Aykroyd is just a joke of himself now. It doesn't get me excited that Dan Aykroyd is in this movie. It's Ghostbusters. He's been trying to make another one for 30 years. It's the only thing he has left. That and believing in crop circles. I just don't give a shit about the guy anymore. So, yeah.
Yeah. First of all, I have this belief that part of where we went wrong as a people was Lady Ghostbusters. I just think everybody fighting so much about that movie. Anybody whose opinion of that movie isn't just that movie was all right, is got an axe to grind. You know what I'm saying? And pop culture used to be a place we could run to hide from the serious conversation. And now, people care more about shit like that in a dumb movie like Ghostbusters than they do life for for good or bad. Good people with good opinions, bad people with shitty opinions. So I'm almost hesitant to engage on this at all. It's like, man, can I just sleep through this? But this shit did not look good to me. This shit looked like another Ghostbusters movie that missed the mark. And I think it starts at its origin, which I believe this movie was greenlit the second they saw those kids on Stranger Things in those fucking outfits. They were like, oh shit, we can sell that. But there are no jokes in this trailer. It's another Ghostbusters movie that I don't think really gets Ghostbusters. And I think maybe they need to just stop trying.
Yeah. My thought was, like, Ghostbusters as an IP, I just don't know how interesting it is to me. I think the first two movies, the original two, are carried on the backs of those four actors. And I don't know how, I know Bill Murray's in it, some of them are in it, but I know we like Paul Rudd, but I just am not very interested in, I think, the IP without those original actors, and I don't know. It looks uninteresting. It looks generic. Like I think, Joan said, it looks just like a ghost kind of like movie. So I was very disappointed in it because I love the first two. It's one of the like two movies, like those movies got me into movies originally.
Right.
So it was disappointing to me. It really was.
I also say I was super excited about Paul Rudd being cast in this. I thought, man, that's the guy to do this. That's the guy who gets it. But I think maybe one of the problems is Paul Rudd is really likable. And I think one of the great things about Peter Venkman is he's not likable at all. He's a bad dude. I don't think this will have any sort of representation of that. So
I will say this about Ghostbusters 2 and Ghostbusters 2016, Lady Ghostbusters. They're not that different. That may be controversial, but Ghostbusters 2 is not a good movie. It is just riding on the magic of Ghostbusters 1. That villain Vigo is fucking dumb. And
don't compare that Lady Ghostbusters trash to Ghostbusters 2.
Ladies Ghostbusters 2 is like Hurt said. It's fine. I have seen worse. I saw Space Jam: New Legacy last week. That shit's 10 times worse than Lady Ghostbusters. But ain't nobody on the internet being pissed off about that. It's fine. And Ghostbusters 2 is fine. You're never going to capture the magic of Ghostbusters 1. You can't do it. And so in some regard, I get trying to make it different. But then I don't know that it deserves to exist. Yeah, I don't know. That trailer was disappointing.
So I just thought of a new grading system for Ian. Ian needs a different grading system than the rest of us. Because I remember you liked Lady Ghostbusters the first time you watched it.
Absolutely not. I will take that to the
100%
absolutely not. Look, when you were talking about when the human species went wrong, I'm part of those people that went wrong. I hated Lady Ghostbusters.
I know you did after 2 or 3 viewings, but you liked it the first time. And I think that's what your system should be, because eventually no movie is going to be good for you. So it just needs to be how many viewings it takes for you to turn against a movie. And if it only takes 2 viewings, that's a bad movie. But if it takes like 30, then that's probably a good fucking movie.
I will agree. Repeat viewings, I go down on movies. But I'm telling you, Ghostbusters, Lady Ghostbusters, fuck that movie. That was trash the whole way. All right. Anyone else on Ghostbusters? You ready to go?
No.
All right. Venom 2, guys. Came out like yesterday, I think it was, or the day before. Woody Harrelson got rid of the wig. He's looking a little more normal. Let There Be Carnage kind of has that same zany vibe as some of the other, as some of the first movie scenes. I thought it looked fucking cool, to be honest with you. I don't know why I'm saying that. And Pert's probably right. I'll watch it twice and say, fuck that movie. But you know what? Right now, I'm thinking it looks pretty good. So what do you guys think?
I'm not going to say it looks fucking cool, but it looks fine. It does look like, kind of the fun parts of the first film. They just made a whole movie out of that. And that's okay. I'll watch it.
I like saying this right after going so hard against that Ghostbusters trailer is just going to undermine any opinion I have, but I'm fucking excited about this. I thought the first one was pretty fun. I realize it's on some levels just a dumb, bland superhero movie, but I think they made the right decision of, hey, yeah, let's just let Tom Hardy do whatever the fuck he wants to. And he did, and it was pretty fun to watch. I'm a really big fan of Woody Harrelson, so I think they'll probably let both of these guys just do whatever the fuck they want, and it'll probably end up being pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, I don't know if the first one I really appreciated the Venom Eddie relationship. I didn't think it was that good, but I was more into it in this trailer than I was at all in the first film.
Right. we should be out there eating bad guys line just killed me for some reason. It's so dumb. It's so for 12-year-old boys. I'm so on board for it.
No movie other than Deadpool has been made just for 12-year-old boys. But you know what? For some reason, like, I never want to describe a movie as zany, but this just feels zany in a good way. I'm into it. Joseph?
Look, we've picked a lot of intellectual property that I don't have strong opinions about, so I'm just going to take the pretentious high ground and say everybody should watch Upgrade instead. It's got discount Tom Hardy, and it's the same movie but made for like $4 million.
I agree with you, but also fuck you.
Yeah, agreed, right? That's what I was going for.
Yeah, the last trailer, guys, is the one I think we're all fucking excited about. I don't think anyone will say a bad thing about it, and it's the new trailer for Dune, which came out a couple weeks ago, and it looks like the best movie ever made. I just haven't seen it. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
The trailer for Dune is the best movie I've seen so far this year.
I told you, I think on the thread, the trailer is so good it makes me want to read. And I think that's accurate because I know this is like an 800-page book, but now that we've like seen glimpses of kind of the world and the character dynamics, and it just seems like, you know, I know, I'm sure that people say this online all the time. It looks like Game of Thrones in space. In a way, like in a good way, in a way that feels like it's a very rich world. And now that I've just seen glimpses of it, I really want to know like what's going on because I don't know anything about Dune.
Yeah, I have a long and storied weird relationship with Dune, so I was going to be excited about this regardless. But this is the first movie I've seen in trailer in a long time that made me think, man, I wish I could just fast forward to be at that premiere because it looks really incredible. The cast all looks great. Even y'all's boy Timothée Chalamet cannot detract from this. It looks really good. There's no jokes for me to make about this. It's just a good looking movie.
Yeah. I haven't felt this way about a trailer in a movie since Fellowship of the Ring. Like,
right.
Yeah.
It is exactly what I picture in my head brought to life. And I am incredibly excited to see it.
Yeah. It's one of those trailers like just injected into my veins. Like I am all into that shit. I love Zendaya, man. She's like one of my favorite actresses right now. I don't know if you guys seen Euphoria or like I saw that movie Malcolm and Marie with John David Washington. She just does a lot of things I like right now. I think she's great. So I hope this movie is what we think it is because that cast is great. It just seems like it's perfect. And I don't want to be disappointed. My expectations are way too high for this one.
This is the only time I want a movie to be 4+ hours. Like this and the extended edition of Lord of the Rings. That's it. I want it to be 6 hours.
Right. Yeah, I just don't want the Delta variant to keep me from seeing this in a theater. I'm really...
Amen.
This looks like it desperately needs to be seen on the big screen.
So we'll see. But yeah, that's kind of all we got. So that's the news, as they say.
You know, we don't want to briefly touch on the ScarJo thing that we teased at the beginning.
Oh yeah, we should talk about that.
We should, yeah. So ScarJo, has sued Disney, claiming breach of contract because they released Black Widow simultaneously on Disney Plus for premiere access and also in theaters. And her contract stated that Black Widow is going to get an exclusively theatrical release. And basically her contract was tied into box office gross. And they're claiming that she lost they're saying, her attorney, which I don't know how true this is, say she lost almost $50 million because of this. I mean, that's probably hard to completely quantify what she really lost, but she definitely lost some money. So it's turned into a shit show. People are saying Kevin Feige's like embarrassed that it got to this point. People are saying that Bob Iger and Bob Chapek now are like not talking. Usually things like this don't go out in the open, especially with Disney. But I don't know. Where do you guys stand with like this whole news? Like, you taking sides, or what do you think about it?
First of all, I believe in almost any situation, if there's a human person suing a corporation, I'm on the person's side.
Same.
Sometimes that person might be like Alex Jones or something, and then I'm wrong. but for the most part, that's how it works. And I'm on ScarJo's side on this, man. And the way Disney came back at them, fuck those guys. I mean, I just can't believe they didn't pay her, because so much of what Disney is selling isn't just that these movies are, good. It's that all these people get along. It isn't just the movies are good, that, everybody's sort of happy making them and stuff. I lost, whereas I'm on ScarJo's side on this, but I also think she'll lose. And Disney took a really dumb, fucked up stance on this.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that she'll lose anymore. I think with Emily Blunt and what's her face from Cruella. Emma Stone also maybe stepping up and doing the same thing. It puts a lot of pressure on them. The Rock not joining in, I think did help Disney. That guy's got to be arguably the highest paid dude in Hollywood, and him choosing not to do it helps their case, whether that's right or wrong.
That dude is the Tom Brady of actors now. He's a brand and not a person.
He was co-producer on that with his $1 production. So
he probably made money anyway.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Agreed.
People refer to themselves as a brand, but I really think The Rock has morphed into a brand. He's a sentient brand.
Yes. Yeah. He is the most brand of anyone I've ever. Like, he's great. I don't know. My thing about it is, like, it really speaks to, I think, Bob Iger would not have handled it this way. The CEO. Yeah. Bob Chapek came from Civision. Like, he does not know movie stars. He does not know talent. And I think he bungled this. I really think, because, like, Disney feels like they have egg on their face. And, maybe, like, opinion can be split. But I do think that it's a clear breach of contract from everything we've been told. And the way they responded to that, like, I do not, like, they could handle that so much more diplomatically, but they kind of got personal with her and called her, like, basically greedy. And that, you're disregarding people because of the pandemic. Well, Disney, if they were so worried about the pandemic, they would have just put it right on Disney Plus. You know what I mean? Like, I really think Bob Chapek, like, he fucked this up. And I really think ScarJo's kind of getting the public opinion, like, she's winning this right now.
Which is incredible, because ScarJo is not typically known for winning the public opinion battle.
Right.
But that's kind of, I'm totally with her in this one, in the sense that in like 90% of cases, barring the absolute lunatics, pretty much anybody who's going after a big corporation to get their due or just more, I'm fine with. Go for it. You should fucking win. And I like the fact that, I know there's kind of a long storied history in Hollywood in general of contracts being tied to film profits, and that those profit margins tend to disappear after a successful box office, after some, marketing, accounting, and all this other kind of stuff. So it turns out a movie that made hundreds of millions of dollars only profited, a few $1 million, and the royalty checks are based on that. So I know there's a long history of getting screwed out of contracts anyway. So I like to see somebody who has the platform stand up and just be like, fuck you guys, give us more money.
Well, and also Disney acting like she's greedy. It's not like they gave their share to Little Orphans or something.
Right?
I hope she wins. I really do.
I do too.
Yeah.
I also think you risking alienating Kevin Feige. Like, Kevin Feige could walk anywhere the fuck he wants and do whatever the fuck he wanted. You know what I mean? Like, I would not piss that dude off.
Do you know how much Warner would kill for fucking Kevin Feige?
I mean, they would literally kill for Kevin Feige.
They would probably have.
They would take Jeff Johns and slit his throat on national TV.
They would,
to get Kevin Feige.
I bet ScarJo's lawyers are from Warner Brothers. They're probably.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's fucked up, but we'll see.
I did read an interesting quote on this subject today with Sean Levy, because somebody was asking him. He's doing press for Free Guy right now, and of course Disney owns Fox now. And someone asked him, I guess he's making a Sesame Street movie, I don't know, and asking what's going on, and he said it has to do with streaming rights and COVID, and they don't know. And he didn't specifically call out ScarJo or that situation, but he said, and it was, I don't know, I feel like it was a bad PR move on his part, that he said he's never heard of a situation where it's not discussed. That streaming rights, since streaming services came along, is not discussed, because every streaming service is different. Isn't
it amazing when literally no one's asking you to put your foot in your mouth, that people still just stick their foot in their mouth all the time?
100%. As soon as I read it, I was like, well, that's relevant, but you probably should just shut up.
You didn't need to be involved in this at all.
Yeah. Stay the fuck away from that conversation.
And what's crazy is the interviewer didn't follow up on it.
Oh.
Like, immediately when he says that, you should be like, wait, the fuck? Hold up. Back up.
Yeah, that is now what this interview is about.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, yeah. So I think we have gone overboard, so we're running along, but that's the news.
Hey,
And
that's the news.
glad we got one in the books.
Me too. I'm just glad the catchphrase is back. Well, cool, guys. What have we been watching this past week?
I'll start. I didn't watch much. I've been rereading Harry Potter. And
Nerd.
you know what? Still great. However, we texted a little bit about this. Dusty Hill passed away last week, bassist from ZZ Top. And that, while sad, like, it's not like when Chadwick Boseman died or when like Neil Peart died. Like, those were shocking deaths for me. I cried days after Neil Peart died. This was just like, you look at Dusty Hill and you're like, oh yeah, it's probably that guy's time to go. However, it did push me to watch a piece of pop culture that I feel like I'm the only person that remembers it, which is the 1990 TV movie Mother Goose's Rockin' Rhyme.
I love this.
Have you heard of this, Jay?
I'm not, but I already love that it exists. Just from the context so far. Go ahead.
It's a TV movie. I think came on Disney Channel. I don't remember how I saw it, but I've seen it multiple times, where it's about Mother Goose's son, Gordon Goose, who is like a stuck-up, super clean, annoying guy who lives in Rhymeland with all of Mother Goose's rhymes. And he hates it there because it's zany and crazy and weird. But all of the rhymes are played by like music stars. So like Simon and Garfunkel are in it. Little Richard plays Old King Cole. And the ZZ Top plays Rub-a-Dub-Dub, 3 Men in a Tub. And they never speak. They only play guitar licks. And they point, like, anytime Gordon needs directions, he, like, the 3 Minute Tub drive up in their hot rod tub car. And he's like, hey, how do I get to Itsy Bitsy Spider? And then like a sweet guitar riff plays and they point a direction. And he's like, cool, thanks, 3 Men in a Tub, and drives off. And this happens like 3 times in the movie. But this is how I was introduced into ZZ Top, was this film.
The fact that that's a real thing and not a thing that was in Jason Hurt's dream is amazing to me.
So with his death, I was like, I have to find this. And you can watch it on YouTube. It is a grainy, shitty, like someone took their tape recorded version and scanned it into YouTube. But it's got so many famous people in it. Besides like the people I've listed, like Katie Seagal, Woody Harrelson, Cyndi Lauper, like so many fucking famous people are in this movie. And it's so terrible. It is like an 80s acid trip dream brought to life. It's like that over the top, there's no straight line at all in it. It's like the Rugrats cartoon brought to live action. Like it's so gross and weird looking. Looks like it was filmed in like one warehouse and they just made this crazy zany little town and they put as many famous musicians in it as possible. And it's almost 2 hours, which is mind boggling with how dumb it is. It's worse than Transformers, but reminiscing about Dusty and ZZ Top and my experience with that film, that was better than Transformers. That's it.
Oh, I'm sad that TV's progression to being better has made shit like that not exist.
So 100% would not happen today.
No way that would happen today. And when you think about stuff like that not happening today, you wonder, why do people even bother getting high? Like, what do they do with it? So I was going to talk about some things I was watching for you guys this week, but then some other shit came up. So I'm going to talk about that, and then I'll talk about that next week. So yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about ZZ Top too. I think I had said during my Van Halen crisis that, I told you guys that my introduction to music was my mom bought me 3 bootleg cassettes at the flea market. And, one of them was Van Halen's 1984. Another one was ZZ Top's Eliminator. So that was like my second band. And I love that band. And I'm really sad about Dusty Hill passing on. If you've never listened to ZZ Top's Eliminator, I think it's one of the craziest risks that an established rock and roll band ever took. When people talk about rock bands taking risks, I think their risks aren't usually that risky. Like Kid A or Sgt. Pepper's aren't really that risky. They went more avant-garde, and if people didn't like it, they could have just went back to being pop. Even shit like, say, Lou Reed's Metal Machine music, which is just unlistenable. That, because it was such a left turn, was, built on his lore. But like, dudes in black t-shirts and hot rods don't usually like it when you lean towards dance. But that was all of ZZ Top's fandom, and they made a synthy pop dance record for teenagers, and it's fucking awesome. If you've never listened to the Eliminator record, I highly recommend it. Of course, their 70s more authentic blues stuff is really good too, but I think this record's more fun. So, give it a listen for old Dusty's sake. Also yesterday we had to put off doing the pod because my internet was out. So me and Sarah watched a DVD, and the DVD we watched was Rent.
Hey!
So I thought I would bring that up because if I remember correctly, both Christian and Nips do not have great opinions of this movie. Am I correct? Am I remembering that right?
That is correct.
I thought it was pretty fun. I'm not a musical expert. Sarah watches a whole lot of musicals. She was in chorus and shit. As I've said before, I've watched like 3 or 4 in my life, but I thought this was pretty fun. I wish it would have centered more on Jesse L. Martin than that fucking guy who looks like Leif Garrett meets Bon Jovi. But I thought it was pretty good. The main mistake I feel like this movie made is it did not make it clear in the beginning, at least to me, that it was set in the 80s. Because I spent most of this fucking movie wondering, why do all these people have AIDS in 2004? Like, that doesn't seem like it was a thing in 2004. And even when they tried to, I guess, give me a technological clue, I think it worked backwards. Because when I saw the guy had the beeper, I was like, oh, wow, these guys are so poor. They have beepers in 2004. Because, if you had a beeper in 1989, you were doing pretty fucking well. But overall, I thought this movie was good. I'd watch it again. I had fun watching. And finally, I'm just going to plug this one thing that I came upon this week. There's been this YouTube guy I've been watching for a while called Wrestling Bios, and he does bios of basically angles that various wrestlers have done and covers what happened both on this side of the screen and behind the scenes. And I like him because he's not just the usual smart mark who parrots all the things that, that is believed about things. And he usually tries to challenge those things and see what really is the information is out there. Like, just for an example, it's usually thought that when Kevin Nash ended Goldberg's streak, he was able to do that because he was head of the booking and he booked himself to do it. But there's no real evidence that happened. And almost all the evidence of people who were actually in the room when these decisions were made was in the opposite of that. So I already kind of like this guy, but he has a program as part of this called the Reliving the War, and I cannot recommend this highly enough. It's the most fun thing I've discovered in forever. Basically what he does is he goes through week by week of the Monday Night Wars, which, if you guys don't remember this, is in the late 90s and early 2000 when WCW Nitro and Monday Night Raw went head to head. And he reviews both shows by segment and, basically says who did best and makes jokes about it. And it is a fucking delight. I don't think you need to really love wrestling to watch it. I think mainly if you just remember how big wrestling was in pop culture at that time, you would probably have a vague idea of what's fun about this show. But it's one of those things where a lot of times when you go back and look at something that you liked at one point, stuff you remembered as cool was not as cool as you think it is. But this actually is cooler than I thought it was. A lot of the stuff lines up more, poetically than I remember it doing. But I really highly recommend this. Reliving the War, better than Transformers.
Hurt. Oftentimes when you bring up things on this podcast that are super niche, I think about how much more of a lonely existence it was to be a niche nerd, even more than just like a single person before technology, because you could have gone your whole life in Cantonment, Florida, and never met a single person who has the same interests as you. But on the internet, there's somebody making shows about it. It's fucking great.
That is true. But you know what's funny? I feel like the internet has made it more lonely because used to I had to go find somebody to talk to about wrestling. Now I'll never need to do that again in my life. I can just watch some dude on the internet talk about it.
Yeah.
I just want to follow up Hertz thing real fast and say on Eliminator, the first single was "Gimme All Your Lovin'," and that song still fucking rocks.
It fucking kicks. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, I can go next. The only thing I want to talk about, I watched two things that you guys have already talked about. One is really good, Mayor of Easttown. You guys have hit it to death.
Yeah.
I meant to mention it before when I was on last time, but God, that show's like fucking perfect. Kate Winslet's fucking great. That scene where Evan Peters gets shot and it's like all through the house.
Spoilers.
Spoiler warning. It's fucking Silence of the Lambs, but like up to the 10th degree. I fucking love that episode. That scene is fucking great. I always like one of those scenes that like hits you and it'll stick with you.
Yeah.
And then something that's really bad. Jones talked about Space Jam: A New Legacy. Fucking watch that. One of the worst movies, definitely top 5 I've ever seen in a theater. I watched it at Bayou, and we all worked there, and people in the theater stood up and clapped at the end, which, I champion the theater experience, obviously, because of my job, but it did make me hate watching a movie in theaters a little bit. Because literally, that's one of the worst fucking movies I've ever seen. It's not even about basketball. It's about video games. It makes me hate fucking kids this generation. It's just like there's nothing good to say about that movie. LeBron James is so fucking stiff. I don't know. He could act in Trainwreck, but now, no, he can't act in this. I just can't believe that movie got out of like the writer's room. That should have never been made. Don Cheadle must have gotten a fat paycheck for that because he is just fucking making a fool of himself. So yeah, that's bad. And then the main thing is I watched Jungle Cruise. I don't know. Has anyone else seen Jungle Cruise?
No,
I've
Not yet.
Okay, so Jungle Cruise I had fun with it. The Rock, I don't know, you guys, if you all been on the ride, it's basically kind of corny. There's a lot of puns. And The Rock is, it recreates that ride. He's talking a lot of puns. He's very much Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean. And I guess my thought on that movie is, while I had a good time with it, and I would say it's a little better than Transformers, it is totally like Pirates of the Caribbean with a new skin.
Right.
Like, it's one of the laziest movies I've ever seen because it is literally Pirates of the Caribbean 1. But instead of like on the ocean seas of pirates, it's in the jungle. Like, if you guys watch it, you will see like it is the same fucking movie. It's literally like they went in the writer's room and it's like, let's just change 3 minor things and then we can just resell this shit. Because, God, like, I don't want to spoil the movie, but literally it's the exact same fucking movie. Like curses and treasure, and it's on the Amazon. The Rock is Johnny Depp, and Emily Blunt is Will Turner. So I don't know if that makes you not want to watch it or watch it. Paul Giamatti, man, he's fallen a far, far way. Like, that dude used to be like starring in movies, and he's now like he's in it for like 2 minutes, and he's just like got the worst role in the entire movie. I can't believe that he signed on to that. I don't know what I was expecting, but I was expecting it to be a little more original, I guess. But yeah, I feel like Disney's now in this corporate machine world where it's just like, let's just change A, B, and C, and we'll just resell this movie and make money on it. It's totally like a cash grab. So, well, I said, I had fun with it. It's a little better than Transformers, but it is very, very lazy. So
this has turned into a weirdly anti-Disney episode. We're not getting paid to do this, but if you want to pay us to do this, we will.
So, if any of you guys watch it, talk about it on some of the episodes. I'd like to hear about what especially what you guys think on that if you guys do catch it. So, and yeah, that's all I got.
Cool.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was coming out till like 3 days after it's out. I completely missed that it was happening.
Cool. Well, just to follow up on Hurt for a second on Rent, I don't feel like I feel like my feeling is each individual scene and song in the movie is good, but as a whole story, it's bad. So you can enjoy I think it's best enjoyed as a collection of YouTube clips and not as a continuous movie.
I tell you what I did hate / love. the part where the fucking Goo Goo Dolls Bon Jovi guy says, fuck it, I'm selling my guitar, buying a car I definitely can't afford from selling a guitar and driving away thing. Like, what happened to make him come back? There wasn't any, like he just walks around in the desert. The only thing I've decided is him walking around in the desert. That must have been a show he put on that no one came to. And that's why he went home.
I knew he'd be a polarizing character, but I thought you'd like him. Apparently, I was wrong.
No. I mean, I didn't hate him. I just think this movie would have been better focusing on almost anyone else in it.
Sure. Well, as far as things that I watched this week, I think I told you guys last week that in DC, I went to the American Indian Smithsonian, and one of the exhibits they have there is about kind of the enduring legend of Pocahontas. And it's kind of about like the true story and why it's caught on and why it stuck with us and all this kind of stuff. And, it's like all of the stuff in that museum was dark as shit, but it made me want to watch Pocahontas again. So I watched Pocahontas again. And it's not good. I think I could spend a whole day taking the 2021 perspective on all the ways this 1995 movie is problematic. I don't really care to do that. I mean, I could just start with the fact that Mel Gibson is John Smith. But I'm going to give this movie the thing I realized watching it is the central story, this love story of two people from different worlds who learn to love each other and learn to love and appreciate each other's culture is functionally the same central story of Tarzan. And I realized that in this movie, when they reach the point where Pocahontas and John Smith meet and they realize, oh shit, we don't speak the same language. There's just some magical Disney plot moving wind that circles around them and suddenly they can understand each other. Whereas just like 2 years later, it's a fabulous montage of learning the secrets of the Western world and exploring the hidden treasures of the jungle set to Phil Collins' Strangers Like Me. And for that reason, fucking alone, this one is worse than Transformers. Missed opportunity.
Right.
The only other things I watched the Masters of the Universe show on Netflix at you guys' recommendation. I don't know anything about He-Man. So I have no attachment to this franchise. The only things I know about it are from Robot Chicken. So it was fine. I realized that Mark Hamill might only have two voices, but it's fine. I do really like the cliffhanger. I also like the doubling down.
Yeah.
And then as I kind of referenced last week, I watched there's an anime on Netflix that's Godzilla Singular Point, which I've watched in completion this week. It's okay. It definitely, I like the way it starts. It tries to take like a hard science fiction edge to it and treats it more of like a detective mystery story about like where all these fucking monsters are coming from. And it scales up nicely in the sense that it starts with problems that like normal people with like bats and crowbars and shit can solve. And then it like slowly scales up to the point where they can't anymore. And all that I think like works because I feel like despite the fact that we've made so many and it's such a legendary property, it's actually pretty hard to make a good Godzilla movie. But it definitely this show loses its way, just gets way too deep in its own pseudoscience-y lore in the last 3 episodes. So I don't know if it's like great. I don't know even know if it's better than Transformers. I kind of liked it. I will say this show made me realize there was some point, there was a Colombian exchange at some point where prior to one specific anime somewhere, I think in the 2010s, we didn't really pay attention to like the fashion aspect of like what the characters are wearing. And then after that, we only care about that. And just like from a historical perspective, I'd be really interested to know where that line happened because like, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, shit like that, they don't give a fuck about fashion. Things got popular because those things are popular, but those motherfuckers look like dorks. But then at some point, like the actual, like the costumes of the characters became a highly important part of the merchandising, which is brilliant, but now it's everything. So I would like to know where that point happened. Also, I would like the shirt from the show, which is just a picture of a donut and the word donut with an exclamation point under it. It's a beautiful t-shirt and I really want it really badly. That's it. So next week, Suicide Squad, right? Comes out like in 2 days.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So we'll be doing Suicide Squad next week. I should also mention I call out on this fucking podcast every goddamn week for people to send in suggestions, and nobody ever does. And so my buddy Chris sent in a recommendation that we watch some garbage-looking B movie called Lamageddon, which is on Tubi. And just to prove a point of how fucking desperate we are for suggestions, I'm putting that on the docket for 2 weeks from now. Lamageddon on Tubi. We have 2 weeks to get through it.
Sounds good.
Well, cool. Well, thanks everybody for listening. Please rate, subscribe, tell your friends. If you want us to do episodes about better movies, you can reach us at realphonies@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at realphonies, and on Instagram, real_phonies. Thanks, Zach Evans for art and Brian Velasquez for our theme. We'll see you guys later.
Have a good one.